And I mean, real. It's a real thing now. And I was in Dubai and I was giving a session on AI, and I was amazed by the information which is available in the public domain on AI. But always there is a challenge. But how exactly people can use it in their day-to-day life? I mean, everybody talks about AI, but what is the use case they can make out of it and they can use it in their day-to-day life? So I thought of, creating this session, requested Harshita to do some help for me. She created this session. And what we are going to talk in this session, in this coffee session, is obviously the M&A part, which is the core part of any transaction or any deal, I would say. And then technology how technology can substantiate that, they process the whole process. And then apart from data rooms, which is like a very traditional technology which is there in the market for decades now, and how we can enhance the traditional technology of data room and create a good use case with Gen AI in it. That's what we are going to discuss, and that's what we are going to talk. Yeah,
Okay.
Harshita, over to you. Aditya, I think your voice is cracking. I don't know whether we lost you or we're still there. I think we lost. Go ahead. I think we lost Aditya. He can.
Okay. So my first question directly, we are not going to jump in the topic, but I just wanted you to express to give some details insight on how the AI data rooms are different from the traditional one. The basic questions.
Okay. Good question. So, with my experience, I'm doing this. Can you hear me now? Yeah, yeah, I can. But your video is paused. That. But your video is paused. So answering your question, how? So we have, as I mentioned, we have this traditional data room. Before this traditional data room, we have this M&A process, which was the history was that it was more like physical documentation, documents lying in the target company conference room. People are going, consultants are going, lawyers are going, and then attending those conference rooms, taking notes, and all that type of stuff. I'm sure few decade back, I mean, not some thought of that, and then created this technology of file sharing, mission based file sharing, and then from that day, it's going on for a few years. But it was very traditional. It's more like a people are just uploading data, downloading data, viewing data, and all that type of stuff. There was no intelligent system, or there is no intelligence or analytics over it. And then this new technology came called AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So although it came quite a long time back, but then we were searching how the same can be used in the data rooms. So we in DCRS, we started exploring how we can use it. And then we went to the basics and found that the core of a deal, any deal, whether it's a fundraising deal or any sort of due diligence, whoever is the consultant or lawyer or a valuer or investment banker is, the core of a deal is pretty simple. There are few documents, and then these documents are to be reviewed, read by interested parties. And it's a very basic function, all these secured confidential documents are uploaded, and then somebody at the other end view them, download them, and read them. So we thought that can we increase the efficiency of analyzing or reading those documents? Then we went out and we started finding a use case of that. Connected, we learned more about Gen AI, integrated AI in our data rooms. And after the integration, I can tell you now if there is a 400 pages, 500 pages document, so instead of reading the whole document page by page, if I have to search, okay, I want to know what is the dispute resolution clause in it, or what is the governing law in it, or what are the liabilities of the parties in it, what is the indemnification, all these basic lawyer's question, I start asking from the document, and it just gives me perfect answer, very good answers. It gives me a thought, it gives me an idea to build my flow in my mind. Okay, now the governing law is say law of United States. Or let me see what exactly where exactly in United States. Instead of me reading page by page and searching that information which is must be lying in some 250th page, I don't have to go and scroll pages. I just start asking questions, and the more I start asking questions from the system, the more adaptable it becomes to me, and start answering questions. Right. So now, what we have done, so we have studied almost, I would say, behavior of 600 to 700 people who are using the data rooms. Right. So it was a study which we have made, and then we found that out of these 600 700 people, 80% of them behave in the same manner, right? They open a document, they ask few questions. So we gathered almost, I would say, top 20 questions from these 80% of people, and then we coded that into the system. So now, if somebody upload a contract, it will get all those top 5 questions first, and once you click on that, then the flow will start on it. So you don't even have to think what question you have to ask. The moment you ask for a law or a legal question, the flow will start. You ask one question, and then secondly, it prompt you to ask the second question, third question, fourth question. And by the time you are on a fifth or seventh question, I would say 60, 70% of your information which you are looking for in the system is done. So this is the power of it, wherein you spend lesser time, you are very focused on the document, and it giving you the result which you actually want to achieve out of it. I mean, I think Aditya can add to it. These are the people. I mean, Aditya is somebody who is from the investment banking side and the banking side. I mean, these are the people who take care of these type of documentation. I don't know. I know I'm a lawyer. I what I read in in the agreement or in the document. I'm sure Aditya is reading something else in the document, not from the legal angle, but obviously from the liability and the exposure side. Aditya, what do you think? I mean, what do you do when you do?
This is really interesting. This is really interesting, Lalit. And I was not aware, to be honest, that now with the help of AI agents, we can do so many things in a room. That is very interesting. So let me give a different perspective on, while obviously document analysis, like you rightly pointed out, which our agent is able to do in a virtual data room, that is really useful. And I think that has ramifications not just for the VDR industry, but for anyone who is doing any kind of data analysis using a document. I think this can be used, as you rightly mentioned, in a legal setup. This can be used in banking, in investment banking. This can be used in consulting, anywhere where we are using documents, where we are analyzing documents, where we are summarizing data. All these places we will be able to use, and this AI agent will actually help us in simplifying a lot of things that we are doing. Having said that, Lalit, there are other things also, from the perspective of a VDR owner. So for example, let's say that I'm a fund, okay, I'm doing a fundraise, and I'm working with multiple distributors. I have pitched my fund to multiple investors, and I'm waiting for them to give me a response, or to see how my discussions with them are progressing. So as a next step, when someone agrees to take this forward, what a fund typically do is they will share their VDR link with the fund. Now, if that person has accessed my VDR or not, he might be telling me on phone or on email that yes, yes, we are considering, we are evaluating. But is that lead actually working out? Can I ask my AI agent that, I had shared it with say 25 investors and 15 distributors. Can you tell me how many have accessed it and how many times they have accessed it? How much time have they spent on my data room? Have they just clicked on the link once and then never looked at it again? Or, if someone tells me, okay, they looked at it for about 30 minutes, they access these 3 documents. So that can also give me some understanding as a VDR owner on how my transaction is processing. That can help me plan for the transaction better. And if I'm facing any reservations, which someone is not able to tell to my face, but through their behavior on my data rooms, through their behavior, if they have accessed it or not, that can actually help me tailor some of the things to those specific people who are maybe currently not finding the relevance in my data room, or I'm trying to pitch to them but I'm not able to appeal to them. That can help me identify those reservations at an earlier stage, which can help me in closing some of these transactions which I may have lost without this intelligence that the AI agent is providing. I would also like to hear your thoughts on this because you interact so much with these VDR owners on a day-to-day basis. Have you got this kind
Yeah,
of a feedback from?
yeah. I think what you are adding, Hitesh, is quite right. I give you an example of a transaction which we were doing at one of the Asia's biggest transaction happening over here in India. So I used to interact with their general concept. So this data room has like some 700. It's like a mammoth. It has like 700, 800 users. I think all the investment
Wow.
banking firms are there. All the law firms were there. All big fours are there. I mean, it's like a huge ship. And the owner of the data room was general counsel, right? So I was curious to understand that how this guy and his team is managing such a big transaction. I mean, I know what data room is, how it works, and all that type of stuff. But I really want to know on the other side how people manage it, how they use it, and on the top of it, how they control things. How do they know that in the next board meeting what people are going to ask them? So I had a big discussion with him, and I personally visited his office, and on his table, I saw Excel sheets, not even a computer. And he was running the whole transaction. And when I went there, I had a coffee with him, and I see Excel sheet date wise. And these Excel sheets or data was nothing but log of our data rooms. You know what? And I said, you're just using this Excel sheet, you're running this transaction. What do exactly you do? So the guy said, Lalit, it's very easy. So I learned about the data room, but then I don't want to use it. I just want to see what people are doing into it. So he used to, every 5 p.m., every evening, he used to ask his secretary to give him the report of the full data room. She gives her the report. And in his report, he was aware that who is doing what in the data room, right? So this is giving him so much of comfort, because then I said, what do you do with this report? He said, if my lawyers are spending, if I have like 50 lawyers working on something, and every damn lawyer is just going to the one file, one contract, and spending time on that contract, I know what they are going to ask me tomorrow. So intelligently he was doing it. From there, when I was sitting with him, it gave me an idea. And then he said, it's not only tell me the intelligence what's happening in the data room, but it also gives me intelligence, because at the end of the day, I have to pay these people. I mean, there is a cost involved and there is the intelligence involved. Because at the end of the day, when I'm going to these people are going to bill me. What's the justification I have to give to my audit that somebody has spent 10 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours reading something, and the transaction went well. And then on that day, coming back to the intelligence part, it gave me an idea that why don't we do something more in the data room, use the technology and make it much more, how can I say, in-depth and analytical for the owners to control it. So then what we call it a time fox. At the end of the day, everything is time. So we developed a system, AI-based system in the data room. We integrated it before we integrated the document analysis. So what the system does, so you have a transaction. Now you have 100 people accessing the data room. Out of those 100 people, they are lawyers, all sort of people, investment banking people, lawyers, CA, CPAs, Big Four, all these type of people are there. Now that system which we have integrated, which we have developed in-house, what it does, it actually gives the analytics of not only how much hour has been spent on a document, but it also tells you that on which page people have spent hours. So there's a higher part of it. So we imagine there are 20 lawyers working on a document, and it also have a feature wherein you can actually code in the input that a junior associate is costing $200 per hour. senior is $300 per hour. A partner is like $1,000 per hour. And you give the system to them. But on the other side, they will not know what exactly happening at the owner side. They were just reading the documents in their system. So at the end of the day, and he can set up triggers, $25,000, $50,000, whatever a trigger he can set. Once that trigger is there, the system can automatically generate reports and notification telling that okay, now your budget is reaching soon. $20,000 has already been spent by the lawyer. This was never happening earlier. At the end of the day, the transaction happens and people get their bill at the end. Hefty bills. So with this time pops, lot of general counsels are using it, and now lot of general counsels are using it not only for the intelligence but also for controlling the cost of the transaction. So intelligence per se is nothing, right? It has to be monetized at some level. So intelligence then modified by this cost is actually giving a very nice, very good mix for owners of the.
My question is, as you said that we can put some contracts in your system, and the AI given some prompts depends on that questions, like what kind of question I can ask. So how your data room ensure the confidentiality of that contract, as the contracts are so delicate and confidential document. So how your VDI, as a being co-founder of Data Room, how you ensure the security and the confidentiality of data?
So, see, confidentiality of data is the prime most concern when we are selling a data room, because data room is nothing but a file sharing application. The only thing which differentiate it from a public mass file sharing system may be any OneDrive, Google Drive, or Dropbox, or all those file sharing systems is the security of it, right? So that's the main, what I believe is the security is the major concern why it has been differentiated from the other simple file sharing applications which are available in the market. Now, when it comes to security, it comes to confidentiality of data, right? And when I say confidentiality, although it's a single word, but then it have various dimensions to it. Confidentiality is not only just to secure your document, it also means that where your data is being hosted, who is accessing your data, whether your data is encrypted or not. I would say this is also the offshoot of the whole confidentiality ecosystem, I would rather say. In our system, and I'm sure there are other companies also doing it, because now we have GDPR in Europe, we have CCPA in California, and almost every country in the world now have their own local data protection laws implemented. Now in India also, everybody know that we are also working on our new legislation, DPDP Act. As I mentioned, confidentiality per se is a bigger is a bigger matter, wherein the data is hosted. So right now what we are doing, we are hosting our data where the customer is located. For example, if a customer is located in Africa, we are hosting their data in the African region. Located in any of the European countries, we are hosting their data in European countries. Same with India, right? So first the data residency, so that we do have to host the data according to GDP or CCP or the local data protection act. So this is also I would say a part of confidentiality. Apart from that, who is accessing your data, whether you are using any encryption or not. So our data rooms all are highly secured, encrypted, can be audited at any point of time. A customer wants, who is accessing the system, there is a mechanism. Not everybody can enter into the system and see what's there in the data room, because we designed our system on no trust basis. So there is a concept in this industry, we call it no trust, which means we don't trust anybody. And I say no trust, which means that even I have to go into a data room, for example, Aditya, and we're doing a transaction, and there are a lot of confidential documents. And if I have to go into that Aditya's data room first, I have to ask his permission to enter. And when then Aditya will say, "No, why should I allow you to enter into my system?" Then if I have to enter into it, and if I will break all the rules and try to it, Aditya will get a notification that somebody has XYZ has entered into the data room. So even if I have to go and fix something, a bug or something, I have to at any stage, at any cost, I have to take permission from Aditya to enter into that data room. So that's the high level of security which we have implemented. Once we give the system to a customer, to a owner of the data room, it becomes their system. We don't have any access to other system. Second thing, all comes to back to the encryption part. So we use two type of encryption. One, an encryption provided by our data center people, and second is the encryption which we have developed in-house. That's a product which we have developed, separate product which we have developed. Every time you send a file, the file is encrypted while in transition and at rest. So every time you send a file, it is encrypted. Every time you download a file, it is encrypted. So that is one. So even though there is a man in the middle attack, then also nothing will happen to the file because the file is encrypted in a way that even though it's on a move while from your computer to the cloud, it is secure.
Moving to the next question. What are the biggest challenges investors face when reviewing company data in an IPO or M&A?
I think this question should Aditya should
Go to Radhik. Yes,
I
yes.
think this is the question to Aditya. Aditya can be a good he, he once he can give you that in investor side of it. Aditya, are you there? We are not able to hear you.
Yeah, sure. What are the biggest challenges investors face when reviewing company data in an IPO or M&A?
Thank you, Harshita, for this question. I think the biggest, I would say, concern investors have whenever they are reviewing any data at the time of an IPO or an M&A, first thing is that all the relevant data that they are looking for should be in the same place. Okay. Now, imagine a company is going for a merger or an acquisition or an IPO. At that time, they will have so much data that they will offer for due diligence to potential investors. Now, this data may consist of, many hundreds of PDFs or, many Excel sheets. It will contain financial information of the company. It will contain historical records of the company. So the investors have to make sure that they are able to scrutinize this data and they are also able to do it in a time sensitive manner, which can become one of the challenges. Now, as Lilith rightly talked about the AI agent that is available nowadays in the virtual data room at DCRS, I personally think that when you are analyzing this humongous amount of information, this AI agent can actually help you look through all the data and find the relevant data for you, be it the financial information, be it when the investors are going through notes of accounts to find any footnotes, any things that are relevant for them, when they are going through legal documentation to find out if any contracts of the company that they are entering into can open these investors to any potential risks in future. So all these things are really important for investors. And as any virtual data room company or any intermediary in this transaction will have this responsibility to make sure that this process as smooth and as simple as possible for the investor. And mind you, when I say simple, I do not mean easy. Okay, analyzing all these documents will always take some amount of time. But if we can simplify this process for the investors, if we can make it simpler for them to go through all the available data and make sure that they are able to find the relevant data. Plus, all understand that from an investor perspective, sometimes multiple departments go through the same data room looking for different types of data. The tax consultant might be looking for the relevant tax data. The legal consultant might be more interested into the documents or the contract that the company has entered into. The financial consultants will look through the accounts of the company to see how the company has been performing, what are the financial projections, how should they, what weights should they assign to these. And all these, when we are going through all these, having a cohesive virtual data room with a proper support from the intermediaries, be it in the form of an agent or in the form of any other way where they are able to organize this data, where they are able to sort through the noise and then analyze it properly for their purposes will be really helpful.
Same question, Aditya. There is some regulatory challenges also there while raising the fund or while going for the in IPO. So, do you think that AI is capable to deal with those challenges?
I think AI can be a guiding voice. Okay. For example, let's say that I'm doing an international transaction. I have an
Mhm.
international investor who is going to invest in my fund. Okay. Now the take AI help the understanding what are the SEMA implications for my transaction for both me and my investor. If AI can tell me, which clauses of SEMA will apply, what are the structure that the investor can follow. However, I think today, and I may be wrong, but as per my information today, the AI models that we have will not be able to directly advise you. You will still have to rely on some legal expert. But the AI can give you guidance on which laws can apply, which are the jurisdictions that you can consider. How can you safeguard the interest of the investor? How can you safeguard the interest of the company? And Lalit, being a renowned SEMA lawyer himself, I will request Lalit to also throw some light on the points that Harshita has raised.
So I think I agree. I fully agree with Aditya that take an example. I'll give you the first discussion. I'll just give you an example. I was sitting with a investment banker from Goldman Sachs, and then we're having lunch, and then he said, oh, I was very busy for the whole day. I came at office at 8 a.m. because I have to create some sort of information for my board, and I had received some information, a report, and I have to munch data from that and do it, and it took me 5 hours. And then I said, okay, what you were using? I was not using nothing. I was just going page by page, taking the notes, and then used my PowerPoint to make a presentation. It took me 5 hours. 5 hours. And then I said, have you used any AI? He goes, I have never used it. I said, you were just munching some data from a document and then conceptualize or summarizing it and then presenting to your board. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I told him, why you would have used our system. 5 hours can be a job of 10 minutes. You get the data in 5-10 minutes, and then ornamentalize it or do whatever, and then it would have been done. And then he said, can you do it? And then we actually, in the middle of the lunch, he stopped having lunch. You open your computer because he wanted to see whether it things works or not. I opened my computer. We put his data into our system, and it actually gave him the result. Said that if I would have used this system, it would have saved me at least 70 to 70%, 5% of my time. I was doing exactly what the system is doing. Yeah, at the end of the day, I have to analyze a little bit more, but that's my personal analyzation. But at least out of 5 hours which I have spent since morning on this document, imagine I would have used this system and saved my 3.5 hours. I would have spent only 1 hour in doing it. So this is what the power of AI people wants to use it in a positive way. Coming back to the next question, wherein Aditya was saying that how AI can be used in the compliance part. So one thing, take an example of FEMA. Today the laws are. I'm talking about India. The laws are quite mature today. If you don't do anything on 30 days, these are the penalties. If you don't report something on 60 days, these are the penalties. If you don't do this on that particular day, this will happen. So laws are very crystal clear, and it has been done over a period of time. It has not done overnight. I understand foreign exchange. I mean, when was a time when retail trading was not allowed, then it was allowed 51%. Now it is 100%. So it took a long for the laws to change. Same is with the reporting. I think the best use of AI will be in reporting of the foreign exchange, because that's the place where 90 to 95% of mishappening happens. Companies receive funds from outside, and then by the time they get their details, or what we call in our legal language is FIRC, foreign inward remittance certificate, by the time they get their FIRCs, by the time they get their board resolution signed and everything, time is already gone. By the time their lawyer will sit and start filing their documents, if it has to be reported on 60 days, the time is gone. Right now, they are in non-compliance. If some sort of AI agent will be there, wherein the moment it hits the bank, somebody has to key in that stuff. Okay, now we have now every day, every morning or every second morning or every third morning, There should be a notification, this thing is happening, you have to do it, otherwise you will be non-compliant. The problem with humans, or with, because we were so busy in doing our daily stuff, we generally forget these dates which are very important. But if there is some agent applicable, okay, now you have crossed 30 days, 60 days. Now this is what you have to do. First, they will push the user to follow the law. But if the law is not followed or the compliance, then they will push the users to file at least with whatever penalties or whatever it is. So at least there is something which is keep nudging you, which is keep following with you, a system which is keep following with you, that you have to do this, you have to do this. And then I think the efficiency of people or the users will increase. The main problem with RBI, Reserve Bank of India, or I would say, which is working through the is this the issue of non-filing of these FEMA related forms, 95%. And then there is a penalty compounding. Everything is now so much crystal clear that you just give that to the agent and the agent will do everything for you. Filling up of the forms. It's just a very simple way of filling up of the forms and making a flow. So that is one of the FEMA came into question. So I thought of putting, and in the same manner you can use this anywhere, anywhere. Because at the end of the day, it is something to do by analyzing the documents, reading the law, and then coming out with some sort of output.
So the last question for this session, and we will wind up this session for the next one. We will meet in the next one. So the question is, how can AI-powered VDR facilitate real-time collaboration between investor, legal teams, and financial advisors?
Now, today, I have started my journey when there was no VDR. Yes, I started my journey wherein we used to do due diligence by going to the factories or remote locations where nobody used to go, and staying in their, guest houses, which is far, far away from the main cities for days, only to read documents. So that was the time. And today, I mean, even though I'm sitting in a cafe, I just open my computer, log in, and start due diligence. So the digitization and the technology has moved far. So today, I don't imagine. I don't know about Aditya. He's more involved in this type of transaction than me. Today, I don't imagine a good, valuable transaction happening without a VDR. I don't foresee that. It's like it has become like a oxygen for all type of deals which are happening. Any type of deal now it has been shifted to even smaller deals, wherein VDR system is required. And once a VDR is set up, I can tell you it creates so much of it synchronize everything. It just synchronize everything. It becomes sort of Bible for the transaction. Everybody goes there. I mean, documents are uploaded, people are viewing it depending on their permission based rights. People are just sitting in the comfort of their office, their home, library, with court, wherever they are. They're traveling in a plane, and then they're connected to a data room. I mean, the limit has been there is no limit. I mean, it has become limitless. So that's the beauty, and I can see that when we are dedicatedly spend our days and days toward due diligence, going to such remote areas, because the owner of that data room, of that company, or that the general counsel or the CF of that company were not comfortable in sharing their documents outside that data room, because they were very much concerned about the security of the data, or but if the deal will not happen, what will happen to our confidential documents? And now they are out in public. So it's a big change. The efficiency has increased a lot. People who are doing 4 deals, 5 deals can do 20 deals because it's easier, it's faster, everything is digitized. And with the implementation of AI, it is even becoming faster. So there is no compromise. I would say there is no compromise in the quality of the due diligence. There is no compromise in the analytics which a lawyer or a investment banker or a big four or chartered accountant does. It just enhances the ability to go deep into an issue rather than looking the issue at a macro level. I mean, with all these facilities, you can actually spend more time on the real issue rather than reading or reviewing the issue at a macro level. I think Aditya can add more to it.
Not in very rightly said. And the only point I will add here is, what more can the agents do to facilitate the lives of the people who are using the data room? So here I also I see that I have 5 files from my finance team saying about my tax team. So can I tell the agent that
Aditya, we are losing you. Aditya, can you come close to me?
can you upload?
No, no.
Your
Aditya, breaking.
your voice is breaking, Aditya.
Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think there is some network issue.
But
Yes.
he was making a good point. Let us wait for a few minutes for him to come back. Aita, are you back? He's. Oh, I think we lost him. We lost. He's joining. He's joining. He just sent.
Okay.
Wait for him to join, and yeah, he's there. We lost you.
Hi guys, am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are.
Yes, yes.
You are now. Yes.
My apologies, some problem in the network.
No problem. No problem.
If
No
there was
problem.
an AI agent, I would have requested them.
Reconnect. That will happen soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, for example, can we make the life of people who are using the data rooms easier? Okay. And by easier, I mean that if, for example, I have to upload new files and I receive multiple files from my tax team, from my compliance team, from my accounts team, can I just tell the agent that I have received this in my inbox? Can you please upload it in this data room? And the agent will do the work and I can devote more time elsewhere. And can I tell the agent that, every week, can you send, if these people are supposed to access the data and if someone is not using the data room, can you please send them an email alert with a copy to their manager? Maybe first email alert without any copy, but second email alert with a copy to the manager to make sure that people are making the best use of the available technology and data. And my transaction does not suffer because someone is busy or any other issues are there. So can they take over some of the project management work that the people are doing themselves right now? That can be something that will really help me.
Yeah, no, I think I understand. I mean, the first. So we at DCRA just tell you that today, whenever there is a data is uploaded into the system automatically triggers emails to all those people who have that permission to review that data. But what you are talking is a bit ahead of it, wherein system triggers the email that now the data is ready for you to view. But if the guy is busy and on the second day he is not able to review the data, when we put a timeline, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, so the system will keep on triggering him that there is a file for you to review because somebody is waiting for your action, right? So this will again comes to the nudging part wherein we all are busy in our day-to-day work, day-to-day life. I mean, and somebody is waiting for us. This I face every day in my office, wherein they have various teams and one team is just waiting for other team to respond and that other team is not able to judge the gravity of the problem the team B is facing, right? So if there is some sort of agent we will implement wherein the team A will have to respond, and if they don't respond in 2 hours, and that agent, the timeline will be set by team B. Okay, we need the response in 4 hours, right? So the team A will now the agent will then chase team A to get the response in the next 4 hours time. And now you design your agent. You send email to the manager first minute, fifth minute send to the junior guy, next hour send to their supervisor, something like that. So the team B who is waiting can get the answer in 4 hours. I mean, I'm sure what you are saying is had a very, very valid point. I mean, it's totally doable. The most important thing is that it's totally doable. I mean, I every time I see the problems which we face are so basic, but these basic problems have such a big impact on the whole ecosystem, right? Very basic problems, if that can be solved in time, the impact on the whole ecosystem will be much, much lesser, and everybody will be, working on a more efficient way rather than, working late nights or in an inefficient way, I would say. And to end, I mean, nobody can replace manager. Then Harshita will not be sitting with us, So project managers and project management is going to stay because you need somebody to run that AI agent, to feed that AI agent, to see that AI agent is working or not, then Harshita obviously can do more important work to
AI agent
upgrade.
cannot chase Lalit sir, but I can chase Lalit sir.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I would always say whenever I speak on AI, I mean the human intelligence is always supreme than the artificial intelligence. It will always remain like that.
And Lalit, Harshita, just to add, so the AI agent, like we say that, nudging is important and the AI agent can help us in nudging. But, on the other end of it, when the AI agent is nudging and the guy goes to the data room to access it, as you rightly said, the AI agent can give him a summary of the document also. If AI agent can help him review it faster, right? So while the
Yes.
AI agent is chasing him, AI agent will also support him in completing his task in a
Task.
faster pace
Yes.
than how much time he would have taken normally. So it will help both the sides of the world, and it will actually bring a lot of efficiencies in the system, make the jobs of people like Harshita and other project managers, program managers, any stakeholders easier and better, so to say.
Completely. I'm with you on this. Yeah, that's a good idea. Even you are giving a lot of ideas. I'm just thinking how we can implement this small ideas from an investment bankers banking side into our system so that it becomes more user friendly and it actually helps people in a better way rather than it is doing what it is doing today. Great. Good suggestion, Aditya.
Okay. So that's it for the today's session. We will meet soon in next coffee series session
Thank you. And next time, Harshita, we want you also to have coffee with us. We had our coffee.
with the D series cup.
Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. Very
So
much.
thank you so much, Lalit.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Aditya,
much,
for
Harshita,
joining
for
us.